She was winning 6-1, 3-0, and then the sky turned black. What happened next to Alex Eala at the Cincinnati Open left an entire stadium in disbelief, and it wasn't the storm that did it. Somewhere between a taped ankle, a wall of thunderclouds, and a scoreline that looked more like a mercy killing than a tennis match, something happened on that court that nobody saw coming. Stick around, because the ending of this story is not what you think it is, and by the end of this video you'll understand exactly why this one match might be the turning point of Alex Eala's entire season. If you're new here, this channel covers every twist and turn of Alex Eala's rise on the WTA Tour, so hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of it. Let's set the scene. It's the second round of the 2026 Cincinnati Open, one of the biggest tournaments outside the 4 Grand Slams, played at the Lindner Family Tennis Center in Mason, Ohio. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old from the Philippines, walks out onto Tony Trabert Stadium 3 as the 17th seed. Just 12 days earlier, she had done something no Filipino tennis player had ever done before. At the Mubadala DC Open in Washington, Eala fought through one of the toughest draws of the entire tournament. She knocked out defending champion Leylah Fernandez in the round of 16. She demolished second seed and former world number 3 Elena Svitolina in the quarterfinals. She then dismantled 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka in the semifinals. And in the final, after the match was suspended overnight by rain and lightning with top seed Jessica Pegula leading, Eala came back the next day and closed it out 4-6, 6-4, 6-0, winning her maiden WTA Tour title and becoming the first player from the Philippines in history to win a WTA singles championship. That win rocketed her from 28th in the world into the top 20 for the first time in her career. And she wasn't done. She carried that momentum straight into the Canadian Open in Toronto, where she beat Alicia Parks and then survived a gritty 3-set battle against Katie McNally to reach the 4th round. Her win streak climbed to 7 matches in a row. But in the round of 16, she ran into Belinda Bencic, the 2015 Toronto champion, and the wheels came off. Bencic dismantled her 6-4, 6-0, snapping the streak, and reports out of Toronto suggested fatigue, plus a right ankle issue Eala picked up during that run, had finally caught up with her. So when Eala landed in Cincinnati barely 48 hours later, the question wasn't whether she was talented enough to win. It was whether her body could hold up. Standing across the net from her was Elena-Gabriela Ruse, a 28-year-old from Romania who had just handled Poland's Magda Linette 6-0, 6-3 to book her spot in this match. This wasn't just another second-round matchup, either. These two had history. Back in 2024, Ruse beat Eala in the final round of US Open qualifying, a defeat that kept Eala out of that year's main draw entirely. 2 years later, the roles had completely reversed. Eala was now a top 20 player and a WTA champion, and she had a score to settle. The match began, and almost immediately, it looked like history might repeat itself. Ruse broke Eala's opening service game. For a moment, the ghosts of that 2024 defeat seemed to be creeping back in. Then everything changed. Eala did not just fight back. She erupted. She reeled off the next 6 games in a row to close out the first set 6-1. Absolutely suffocating Ruse from the baseline with her signature aggressive return position and that dangerous lefty forehand. She kept the foot on the gas into the second set, ripping off 3 more consecutive games to open up a 3-0 lead. By this point, Eala had won 9 straight games, 9 in a row, against a player who had just bageled her previous opponent. This was not a comeback story anymore. This was a statement. But tennis has a way of interrupting its own best stories. After falling behind 3-0 in the second set, Ruse called the trainer out onto the court. She needed treatment on her right foot. The exact nature of the issue wasn't announced, but the concern in the stadium was obvious. Officials taped up her ankle as Eala waited, pacing the baseline, trying to keep her rhythm alive while her opponent received medical attention just a few feet away. Play resumed. Eala, still dictating every exchange, moved out to a commanding 30-love lead in the 4th game of the second set. She was 2 points away from an even more suffocating position in the match. And then, above the Lindner Family Tennis Center, the sky turned dark. Thick, heavy storm clouds rolled in over the grounds. Lightning was spotted in the area. Within moments, Officials made the call. Play was suspended immediately, and fans in the stands were told to seek shelter. Just like that, the momentum, the rhythm, the entire emotional arc of the match was ripped away and put on pause. Tournament organizers initially announced that play would not resume before 1:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Players, coaches, and fans were left in limbo, waiting out a Cincinnati summer storm that had picked the worst possible moment to arrive. For Eala, this wasn't just an inconvenience. It was a dangerous interruption to a match she had been completely controlling. So what happened when the rain finally stopped? Here's the twist nobody was expecting. Before the players were even called back out to the court, word came through that Elena-Gabriela Ruse had withdrawn. The lingering issue with her right foot, the same one that forced that medical timeout at 3-0 down, proved too much to continue playing through. Ruse retired from the match without another ball being struck. The official result went down as a 6-1, 3-0 retirement victory for Alex Eala. It wasn't the most dramatic scoreline you'll ever see, but everything that happened around it, the 9-game surge, the medical timeout, the lightning delay, the storm rolling over Ohio, and the quiet, almost anticlimactic ending, made this one of the strangest and most talked about matches of the entire Cincinnati Open. And for Eala personally, it delivered something even sweeter than the numbers on the scoreboard. Payback. 2 years after Ruse ended her US Open dream in qualifying, Eala had turned the tables completely, dominating every single moment they shared on court before the weather and the injury wrote the final chapter for her. Eala's reaction afterward reflected all of that. She advanced to the third round without needing to play out a match she was already firmly in control of, but she also didn't get the clean, competitive finish every athlete wants. There's no satisfaction in watching an opponent limp out of a tournament, even when the numbers on the board are entirely in your favor. So what does this all mean going forward? This win pushes Eala into the round of 32 at Cincinnati, where the competition only gets tougher from here. Waiting for her in the next round is Amanda Anisimova, the 9th seed and world number 10, who cruised past Zeynep Sonmez 6-2, 6-3 to set up the meeting. This will be the very first time these two have ever faced each other on tour, adding another layer of intrigue to an already wild tournament for Eala. And that's not even accounting for who could be lurking further down the draw. Belinda Bencic, who has already beaten Eala twice this season, including a straight sets win in the Berlin semifinals, looms as a potential round of 16 opponent. Push even deeper, and there's a scenario where Eala could run into Jessica Pegula again in the quarterfinals. A rematch of that unforgettable, storm-interrupted Washington final that made history just under 2 weeks earlier. Think about the sheer volume of tennis this 21-year-old has played in the span of a single month. A career-defining title run in Washington. A gutsy, momentum-building charge through Toronto that ended only when fatigue and an ankle injury caught up with her against one of the tour's most experienced competitors. And now, a lightning-interrupted, injury-shortened win in Cincinnati that pushes her deeper into a tournament that only gets more dangerous with every round. This is the story of a player who, less than 2 years ago, wasn't even ranked inside the world's top 100, and who has now beaten multiple Grand Slam champions, claimed her first WTA Tour title, and cracked the top 20 in the rankings, all while dealing with the physical toll that comes with a rise this fast and this relentless. The question hanging over Eala now isn't about her talent. Nobody doubts that anymore. The question is whether her body can survive the pace of her own success long enough to make a real run at the Cincinnati title, and beyond that, at the US Open just a week later. She said herself, after the loss in Toronto, that she planned to take only a day or two off before flying straight to Cincinnati. In a sport where recovery time is often the difference between a deep run and an early exit, that's a decision that could define the rest of her summer. For now, the storm has passed, the ankle is taped, and Alex Eala is still standing in the draw. Whether she has enough left in the tank to get past a red-hot Amanda Anisimova, and potentially a Belinda Bencic or a Jessica Pegula rematch after that, is a story that is still being written in real time. One thing is certain. Every time this young Filipina star steps onto a WTA court right now, something unforgettable seems to happen. A historic title, a 7-match win streak, a lightning delay, a rival's retirement, and a stadium full of fans who have absolutely no idea what to expect next. Make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because whatever happens in that Anisimova match, we will be breaking it down right here, point by point, the moment it's over.